Morning. Happy Friday to you. Hope you guys have some fun things planned this weekend. I know I have some Christmas shopping to catch up on. Hopefully, I'll finish it this weekend, other than the fun stuff. Um, Wanted to check back in. I am on week two of I think it's a five-part series, it might be four-part series of goal setting. And we are talking about that now in December because this way we'll have our goals in place by the time January 1st rolls around. Today, I wanted to ask you what maybe that you're working on, what you decided to focus on moving into 2023. And if you're like me, you may have a really, really long laundry list of things that you want to work on. I asked you last week to just focus on one area, one aspect or goal that you wanted to focus on. And today I wanted to talk about some ways that you can set a goal that is going to really help you. Hey, Jackie, I miss you. Anyway, I wanted to share 5 ways that you can create a goal that's going to help you move into whatever it is that you have set for yourself. For myself, I am very health minded. And hey, Aunt Pam, I am very focused, and I wanted to share what's been working for me and what I've helped my clients to do to get to where they want to go. Just ignore my dog. So when we're talking about goals, there are 5 things to think about. We call them SMART goals. You may have heard this before, but I can never hear this enough because sometimes when I don't achieve the goals that I've set for myself, it's usually because one of these ways one of the 5 ways has not been implemented, has not been really focused on in creating. You have to take time to plan because if you don't plan, then you're probably going to fail. So 5 things that you can do. The first one, once you think of the word SMART. So the S is your specificity. Gosh, that's a hard word to say. How specific is your goal? For example, overall, I want to be healthier in 2023 than I am today. For me, it's looking a lot like weight related. For you, it might be something different. You can use this across the board. You can use this for health, relationships, work, whatever it is. But how specific is your goal? So I'm not going to just say I want to be healthier. I might focus on losing some weight. Okay. It could be losing inches if you're health minded. If you're at work, you want to maybe increase your productivity and set a goal that way, but your goal must be specific. You've got to have something out there, not just something random to kind of reach for. Okay, so that's the S. The M for SMART goal stands for measurable. How measurable is your goal? And I always use the word to metric. So it's got to be something that you can measure. So, for example, in my case for health, you've got the pounds, you've got, you can do inches. For work, it might be a specific number that you're trying to hit. It might be in relationship, maybe something that you're trying to achieve with your relationship. So make sure that it's something that is measurable and you can attach a metric to it, because if not, you're kind of grasping and reaching for random things and you're not going to really have a sense of accomplishment once you start making progress. So that's super important. So the S and the M is done. The A is for achievable. I This is probably where I falter the most. Sometimes I create goals for myself that are not achievable. 15 pounds in a month, and sometimes even 10 pounds in a month for me is not achievable. It's not realistic. So make sure that what it is something that you can actually achieve. And you don't want it to be super easy. You don't want it to be something that maybe you can achieve the first half of the month. It needs to be a little bit of a reach, but it also needs to be realistic. And when you're thinking about being achievable, make sure that you have the tools available to you to achieve that goal. That might look like having an accountability partner, health coach. It might, excuse me, it might look like if you are trying to get healthier or you're trying to maybe train for a marathon or something, you might need to have access to a treadmill on rainy days or bad weather days. So make sure that you have the tools that you need to achieve your SMART goal. Okay. The R for SMART goal is relevant. So this one is really in terms of when you're thinking long term. I think about the entire year of 2023, where I want to be at the end of 23, as opposed to where I'm beginning and how I'm going to get there. So you're chunking it. You're actually going to think of a relevant goal that's going to be a small step in where you want to be, maybe towards the end of the month or the end of the year. So that comes very naturally to me because I'm a former teacher. So we always do the backwards design, backwards planning. And so I always begin with the end in mind. And then I kind of break it down into smaller parts and smaller steps to help me get to that point, if that makes sense. So make sure your goal is relevant. You don't want whatever it is that you're working on to be completely unrelated to where you want to be at the end of 23. Kind of makes a little bit of sense, right? And then finally, this is another place where I tend to leave this part out of my goals. Time bound. You have to set a time stamp on whatever it is that your goal is. If it's just floating out there, I have found that if I don't have a specific date where I want to achieve that goal, I find that a lot of times excuses tend to creep in. I might just extend that deadline a little bit further if it's not specific. I might give myself some off time, so to speak, and that's not really going to help you get to where you want to be. So make sure that whatever it is that you're setting for yourself, that you have a timestamp on it. It just depends on who you are and what it is. For you, you might be working on a weekly goal. That's okay. That's a smaller way to chunk your goal. You might be working on a monthly goal. So you have to think about it, but please, please, please make sure you have a timestamp on it. Sorry, my mom is texting me and she knows that I'm doing a live this morning. Excuse me. So those are the things that you need to have in place to create a SMART goal. And remember, we're setting goals now because that way we can be very, very clear in where we want to be in 2023, whereas a lot of people don't begin this process until January 1st. And then a lot of times those excuses tend to creep in because they get busy and kids get back to school. And before they know it, they're looking up at the end of January and they haven't even started their goals and working towards bettering themselves. I'm so sorry. I think I've got some allergies going on. So I hope that you find that helpful. I would love to talk to you more about this. I would love to hear what your goals are. If you could share them privately with me. I'm on a mission to help as many people as I can. If health is your department and that's what you're focused on in 2023, I would absolutely love to partner with you to help you become a better version and a healthier version of yourself, whether that's mindset, body, or whatever. So I hope that you have a fantastic Friday. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about how do you begin? How do you start working on these things? And yes, it is possible to do that before the holidays, my friends. Holidays are only a few meals. If you're health minded, why would you have that keep you from making progress? So reach out to me, let me know what's going on in your world, what you're working on, and have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for joining me.